when she knows she lost you. This is how she behaves, the female psychology. The moment a woman realizes she has truly lost you, something shifts inside her that she cannot control, cannot hide, and cannot explain even to herself. That shift is real. It is documented. It is consistent across cultures, across ages, across every kind of relationship dynamic you can imagine. And once you understand what is driving it, once you see the psychology underneath the behavior, you will never look at the way a woman acts after losing a man the same way again. Today we are going inside female psychology at one of its most revealing moments. The moment of genuine loss. Not the moment she thinks she might lose you. Not the moment she is testing you or playing games or running the calculations of a relationship that still feels negotiable. The moment she knows. The moment it becomes real and undeniable, and something in her responds in ways that are deeply, profoundly human. This is not a video about manipulation. This is not a video about games or strategies or how to make a woman chase you. This is a video about genuine human psychology, specifically female psychology at the moment of realized loss, understood with the depth and the honesty that the subject deserves. Because understanding this is not just useful, it is important. For the men watching, it will give you clarity about experiences that have probably confused and hurt you. For the women watching, it will give you a mirror, an honest, compassionate, non-judgmental mirror that reflects what is actually happening in you when this moment arrives. And it will help everyone watching to build something better. Relationships grounded in genuine understanding rather than confusion and reaction. If you are new to this channel, welcome. We explore human psychology and the principles of Stoic philosophy and bring them directly into the real texture of your relationships and your life. No surface-level content. The real thing. Subscribe right now and hit the bell notification. We release these videos regularly, and every single one is built for people who want to understand themselves and others at the deepest level. Subscribe now. Let us begin. 1. Why this moment is different from all other moments. Before we go into the specific behaviors, we need to understand why the moment of genuine loss produces such a distinctive psychological response in women. Because without understanding the why, the behaviors look random or manipulative or contradictory. With the why, they become completely coherent, human, even beautiful in their honesty. The human brain, male and female alike, processes the loss of a significant attachment the same way it processes physical pain. This is not a metaphor. Brain imaging research has shown consistently that the neural pathways activated by social rejection and romantic loss overlap substantially with those activated by physical injury. The pain of losing someone who mattered is genuinely, neurologically, real pain. But female psychology at the moment of loss has some specific qualities that distinguish it from the male experience. Not because women are more emotional in the dismissive way that phrase is often used, but because of how female relational psychology is structured at a deep level. Women, across cultures and across developmental psychology research, tend to build their sense of relational security through what psychologists call attachment bonds. Deep, emotionally complex connections that involve not just affection but identity, meaning, and a sense of being known and valued by a specific person. When that bond is genuinely severed, not threatened, not strained, but actually gone, the response is not just grief. It is a complex reorganization of the self. And here is what makes the moment of genuine loss different from all the preceding moments of a relationship in difficulty. Before genuine loss, there is hope. And hope, even uncomfortable hope, even anxious hope, even the hope that exists alongside significant unhappiness, regulates behavior. It gives the mind a direction to point. It provides a framework within which actions have meaning and consequences. The moment genuine loss becomes real, the moment hope is extinguished, that regulatory framework collapses. And what follows is a period of psychological reorganization that produces behaviors that can seem, from the outside, contradictory, surprising, and sometimes completely at odds with how the woman was behaving before. Understanding those behaviors is what this video is about. Let us go through them, honestly, carefully, with the respect that genuine human psychology deserves. 2. The first behavior. She becomes suddenly and genuinely present. The first behavior that emerges when a woman genuinely knows she has lost you is one of the most counterintuitive things in all of relationship psychology. She becomes present, suddenly, fully, in a way she may not have been for months or even years. The calls come, the texts come. The attention that was rationed or absent or distracted is suddenly available and full and focused entirely on you. The version of her that you wanted, the engaged, attentive, genuinely interested version, shows up with a consistency and an intensity that can feel disorienting, especially if her emotional absence was one of the primary reasons the relationship deteriorated. And the natural human response to this is confusion, anger sometimes, hope sometimes, the feeling that this is manipulation, that she is doing this strategically to pull you back. Sometimes there is strategy involved. Human beings are not purely unconscious creatures, and women, like men, are capable of deliberate behavior aimed at specific outcomes. But the psychology underneath this behavior is far more complex and far more honest than pure strategy. When genuine loss becomes real, the psychological mechanism called counterfactual thinking activates powerfully. The mind begins generating vivid, detailed images of what could have been different, what the relationship could have been, what she could have given that she did not give, what she was withholding, sometimes consciously, more often unconsciously, that she now sees clearly was the thing that mattered most. The presence she suddenly offers is, in a very real sense, the presence she now understands she should have been offering all along. It is grief and recognition and genuine care arriving simultaneously and expressing themselves as attention. This is why it feels real. Because it is real. The feelings driving it are genuine. The recognition underneath it is genuine. The care is genuine. What is complicated, and what the man on the receiving end needs to understand with clear eyes, is that genuine feelings and genuine readiness for change are not the same thing. The psychological research on relationship patterns shows consistently that the behaviors that produce loss, the emotional unavailability, the taking for granted, the gradual withdrawal of presence, are deeply rooted in attachment patterns that do not transform automatically at the moment of grief. The feelings are real. Whether the change is sustainable is a separate question. And that question deserves a clear-eyed answer rather than a response driven purely by the relief of finally receiving what was withheld before. 3. The second behavior. She monitors your life with intense attention. The second behavior is one that the social media age has made simultaneously more visible and more complicated than it has ever been in the history of human relationships. When a woman knows she has lost you, she watches, carefully, consistently, with an attention to detail that can border on the obsessive and that she would probably be embarrassed to fully acknowledge even to her closest friends. Every social media post you make is noted. The timing of it, the content, who liked it, who commented, whether there are new faces in your orbit that were not there before, whether you look happy, whether you look sad, whether you look like you are doing better or worse without her. She notices the things you do not post as much as the things you do. The silence is read as carefully as the activity. Everything becomes data in the unconscious project of answering the question her psychology is most urgently asking. Did I matter? Do I still matter? Is the loss as real for him as it is for me? This behavior is not stalking in the malicious sense. It is attachment psychology doing exactly what attachment psychology does when a significant bond is severed. The mind keeps reaching for information about the person it has lost because that is how the attachment system attempts to process the loss. The monitoring is, at its root, grief looking for evidence that the relationship was real, that the connection was genuine, that the loss is meaningful. For the man watching this, understanding this behavior is important for two reasons. The first is that it will affect your own psychology. Knowing she is watching, and she almost certainly is, will produce in you a temptation to perform, to cure it, to present a version of yourself that sends a specific message, to use your visibility as a communication channel for things you have not been able to say directly. The Stoic counsel on this is direct and clear. Do not perform. The life you are living after the loss should be the genuine life you are building for yourself, not a production designed for an audience of one. Performance corrodes. Authenticity compounds. The man who lives genuinely in the aftermath of loss builds something real. The man who performs for the audience of his ex-partner's monitoring builds nothing. The second reason this behavior matters is that it tells you something true about where she is. A woman who is genuinely indifferent does not monitor. The monitoring itself is evidence of genuine feeling. What you do with that evidence is yours to decide, but knowing it is real is useful. 4. The third behavior. She reaches out in indirect ways. The third behavior is one of the most recognizable and one of the most psychologically interesting. When a woman knows she has lost you but is not yet ready to make direct contact, or has already tried direct contact and found it closed, she reaches out indirectly, through channels that maintain plausible deniability, through actions that communicate without explicitly communicating. She watches your story within the first 30 seconds of you posting it. She likes a photo from 3 weeks ago at 2 in the morning. She comments something brief and ambiguous on a mutual friend's post that she knows you will see. She mentions you casually in a conversation with someone she knows will report back. She shows up somewhere she knows you are likely to be, dressed in a way that communicates very specific things, accompanied by a plausibility of coincidence that convinces no one. These indirect reaches are not accidents. They are the behavior of someone who wants to re-establish connection, but cannot bear the vulnerability of a direct attempt that might be clearly and finally rejected. The psychology underneath this behavior is fascinating and deeply human. It is the operation of what researchers call approach avoidance conflict, the simultaneous pull towards something desired and push away from the risk of pursuing it directly. She wants contact. She wants to know if there is still something there. She wants to test the temperature of the space between you without committing to a full presence in it that would require her to be fully seen and fully vulnerable to rejection. The indirect reach is the resolution of that conflict. It is a way of being present in your awareness without being fully exposed to the consequence of that presence. For the man experiencing this, the important thing to understand is what these indirect reaches are asking. They are not asking about logistics. They are not asking for information. They are asking one question, expressed in a dozen indirect ways. Am I still someone to you? What you do with that question, whether you answer it, how you answer it, whether you choose to open the door or hold the boundary, that is yours to navigate. But understanding what is actually being asked clarifies the navigation enormously. 5. The fourth behavior. She upgrades herself visibly and publicly. The fourth behavior is one that men often misread entirely, and misreading it produces responses that are neither healthy nor useful. When a woman genuinely knows she has lost you, she frequently undergoes a visible and deliberate process of self-upgrade. The new haircut, the fitness commitment that produces visible results, the wardrobe that is noticeably more intentional than before, the new hobby or skill or social circle that gets prominently displayed in the spaces where she knows you can see it. The overall presentation of a woman who is, by every visible measure, doing better. The natural male response to this is one of two things. Either dismissal, she is just performing, it is not real, or activation, she looks incredible, maybe I made a mistake. Both of these responses miss the more complicated and more honest truth. The self-upgrade behavior that follows genuine loss is driven by a combination of motivations that exist simultaneously and that are all real. There is genuine grief being channeled into productive action. The psychological energy of loss, which is enormous, needs somewhere to go. And for many women, directing it towards self-improvement is one of the most functional ways to process it. The gym, the new skill, the changed aesthetic, these are not purely performative. They are genuine coping mechanisms that produce genuine results. There is also genuine reclaiming of identity. In many long-term relationships, women gradually organize significant portions of their identity around the relationship itself, around being someone's partner, around the shared life, around the person they were within that specific dynamic. When the relationship ends, there is an identity vacuum. The self-upgrade is, in part, the process of filling that vacuum, of rediscovering or reconstructing who she is independent of the relationship. And yes, there is also the desire to be seen, to be noticed, to communicate to you, and to herself, that she is someone worth losing, that what you let go of was valuable, that the loss is real on both sides. All of these motivations are real. All of them are honest. And the result, the visible self-improvement, is usually genuine regardless of the motivation driving it. For the man watching, the Stoic counsel is this: let her upgrade be hers. Do not use it as a source of regret about the past or as a reason to reopen something that closed for real reasons. The question is not whether she looks better now. The question is whether the things that genuinely mattered, the patterns, the values, the quality of the connection, have actually changed. Looking different is not the same as being different. See clearly and respond to what is real. 6. The fifth behavior. She alternates between strength and collapse. The fifth behavior is the one that most honestly reflects the internal reality of genuine loss. And it is the one that is most important to understand with compassion rather than judgment. When a woman knows she has lost you, her emotional state does not stabilize into one consistent response. It oscillates, sometimes dramatically, sometimes in ways that confuse even her. There will be days, sometimes weeks, of what looks like complete recovery. She is fine. She is more than fine. She is building her life with confidence and forward momentum and the quiet dignity of someone who has processed their grief and arrived somewhere solid. And then something will happen. A song, a smell, a specific quality of light on a specific kind of afternoon. A conversation that touches something. A moment of vulnerability when the defenses are down. And the collapse arrives with a speed and an intensity that feels entirely disproportionate to whatever triggered it. She texts at midnight. She cries in a way she cannot explain to her friends. She goes back through photographs. She writes things she does not send. She grieves with the full force of something that has not finished moving through her. And then, sometimes within hours, the strength returns. And she is fine again. This alternation, this cycling between strength and collapse, is not instability in the clinical sense. It is grief doing its actual work. The psychological research on bereavement, which applies directly to relationship loss at this intensity, shows consistently that grief does not move in a straight line from pain to recovery. It moves in waves, in cycles, in patterns that are non-linear and non-predictable, and that can feel, from the inside, like a kind of madness. It is not madness. It is the mind and the heart processing a genuine loss in the only way they know how. By feeling it fully, by avoiding it when the feeling is too much, by returning to it when the avoidance has produced enough distance to make another wave bearable. For the man on the receiving end of this cycling, who may be receiving the midnight text and then the silence, the vulnerability and then the wall, the reaching out and then the withdrawal, understanding this cycle is essential. The midnight text is real. The silence that follows is also real. Neither one is the whole truth. Both of them together are the truth, the complicated, non-linear, genuinely human truth of someone processing something that genuinely mattered. The Stoic response to encountering this cycling, in a woman you have genuine care for, even in the context of a loss that was necessary, is not to exploit the vulnerability or dismiss the strength. It is to hold both with the respect they deserve, to respond from your own genuine values rather than from the emotional activation that the cycling produces in you. Her process is hers. Your response is yours. Keep that boundary clear. 7. The sixth behavior. She tells her story. The sixth behavior is one that plays out primarily in the social sphere, and it is one that men often experience as confusing or even hurtful without fully understanding why it is happening. When a woman knows she has genuinely lost you, she tells her story. To her friends, to her family, sometimes to people who were barely peripherally involved in the relationship, sometimes, in the social media age, to a public audience that is larger than she fully realizes. The story she tells will almost certainly not be the same story you would tell. It will emphasize things that are true from her perspective. It will minimize or omit things that would complicate the narrative. It will construct a version of events that allows her to make sense of what happened in a way that preserves her self-concept and provides her social network with the information they need to give her the support she is seeking. This is not, in most cases, a deliberate campaign of misinformation. It is the completely human process of narrative construction, the way the mind makes meaning out of experience by organizing it into a story that is coherent, that has a comprehensible shape, and that places the self in a position of at least partial dignity. Every human being does this. Men do it too. After a significant loss, we tell the story in a way that we can live with. That does not make the story dishonest necessarily. It makes it partial. It makes it one perspective on a reality that always contains at least two. The reason this behavior matters, the reason it is worth understanding rather than simply reacting to, is that it has real consequences for the social environment you both inhabit. Mutual friends receive the story. Family members form opinions. The social ecosystem adjusts around the narrative. The Stoic response to this is one of the most demanding and most important in the entire framework. Do not counter-narrative. Do not enter the social sphere with your own competing story designed to correct her version. Not because her version is necessarily accurate, it may not be, but because the energy spent on narrative warfare is energy taken from the actual work of building your life forward. And because the people who matter, the ones whose opinion of you is actually important, will form their genuine assessment not from the story they are told, but from the quality of who you are over time. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect." Your self-respect in the aftermath of loss is worth more than winning the narrative. Guard it accordingly. 8. The seventh behavior. She tests whether the door is truly closed. The seventh and final behavior is the one that requires the most clarity from you, because it is the behavior that most directly asks something of you, that most directly puts your values, your boundaries, and your genuine intentions to the test. When a woman knows she has lost you, truly knows it, has sat with the reality of it, has processed enough of the initial grief to be capable of deliberate action, she will, in most cases, test whether the door is truly closed. Not always dramatically, not always obviously, but she will probe. She will create an opportunity for you to reopen what closed. She will put herself in a position where you have the option to respond in a way that signals availability. She will say something or do something or create a situation that is designed, consciously or unconsciously, to find out if the ending is final. This test can take many forms. The direct conversation, honest, vulnerable, genuinely attempting to address what went wrong. The indirect suggestion, a comment, a gesture, an invitation that means something beyond its surface. The manufactured crisis, a situation where she needs something and reaching out to you is the only natural option. The nostalgic reach, the memory shared, the inside joke referenced, the specific detail from your shared history that only she would know to invoke. Whatever form it takes, this behavior is asking you a question that you owe yourself and her a genuine answer to. Is the door truly closed? Or is it closed out of pride, out of pain, out of the momentum of the ending rather than out of genuine conviction that the ending was right? The Stoic framework is very clear about how to answer this question. Not from emotion, not from the activation that her test produces in you, the hope, the anger, the desire, the confusion. From reason, from your genuine assessment of the situation, conducted with the clarity that the Stoics called wisdom. Ask yourself honestly, what ended this relationship? Were those things circumstantial, patterns that could genuinely change with genuine effort and genuine time? Or were they fundamental, differences in values, in character, in what each of you needs from a life and a partnership that no amount of effort or goodwill can bridge? If the answer is circumstantial, then the test she is posing deserves a genuine, thoughtful response, not a reactive one, not one driven by the relief of ending the pain of loss, but a genuine one, grounded in honest assessment and realistic expectation. If the answer is fundamental, then the most respectful and most honest response to her test, the response that honors both her and you, is clarity. Not cruelty, not coldness, but the clear, kind, unambiguous communication that the door is genuinely closed, that the ending was real, and that the most loving thing you can offer her is the truth that allows her to fully move forward rather than the ambiguity that keeps her in the doorway. Clarity is a form of love. The Stoics understood this completely, and the woman who has genuinely lost you deserves, at minimum, the clarity that allows her to know it is true. The moment a woman knows she has genuinely lost you is one of the most revealing moments in all of human psychology. Not because it exposes weakness, but because it exposes truth. The truth of what the connection meant. The truth of what loss actually feels like when something real is gone. The truth of how deeply and how humanly we are all capable of caring for each other, even when the caring arrives too late, or in the wrong form, or in the aftermath of something that could not be saved. Understanding these 7 behaviors is not about gaining advantage. It is about gaining clarity, about seeing the person in front of you, or the person you have lost, with the full humanity they deserve, about responding from wisdom and genuine care rather than from confusion and reaction. And for the people watching this who are on the other side, who are the woman in this story, who recognize themselves in these behaviors, who are sitting with the reality of a genuine loss right now, I want to say something directly to you. What you are feeling is real. The oscillation, the monitoring, the indirect reaches, the testing of the door, none of it makes you weak or manipulative or small. It makes you human. It makes you someone for whom the connection was real and the loss is real and the grief is doing exactly what grief is supposed to do. Feel it. Let it move through you. Do the self-upgrade not for him, but for yourself. Tell your story to the people who love you. And when the door is genuinely closed, when the clarity has been offered and the ending is real, let yourself grieve it fully and then, with the full Stoic understanding of what you are capable of, begin building forward. You are more than the loss. You always were. If this video gave you something real, something that brought clarity to an experience that has been confusing or painful, please share it with someone who needs to understand this. Leave a comment below telling me which of the 7 behaviors you recognized most clearly and what understanding the psychology underneath it has changed for you. I read every single comment, and I genuinely mean that. Subscribe to this channel right now if you have not already. Hit the bell notification. We release deep psychology and Stoic philosophy content regularly, and every video is built for people who want to understand themselves and others at the level that actually matters. 3 seconds. Subscribe now. Human psychology is not a mystery to be feared. It is a landscape to be understood, and understanding it, honestly, compassionately, with the full depth it deserves, is one of the most powerful things you can do for every relationship in your life. Thank you for being here. Take care of your minds and your hearts. See you in the next one.